Hi guys, my name is Model. Welcome back to my channel. On 1st of January, I received a DM from one of my fans, and it was after he had watched Men to Avoid at All Costs, All Single Moms. And this is what he said. I agree women need protection, but the biggest failure in society is not the lack of protection of women, but the lack of training of men. If we train men properly, then women benefit automatically. Please focus on this message to raise strong men, men of purpose and conviction. I felt it would make more sense coming from a man to other men. Then it also hit me that I'm also raising boys. Why can I not do it? In today's world, there are many males, but very few men. Strength without character has become normal. You can give a man money and he may lose it. You can give man power and he will abuse it. You can give man influence, but he'll corrupt it. But if you give a man character, he can carry money, he can carry power, he can carry influence without destroying himself. Raising men of character starts from home. I believe the Bible is the manual for life. Everything in this life is here. How to do business, marriage, to parents, how to be a leader, how to run a nation. Everything is in the Bible. I went back to the Bible to find out what it takes to raise men of character. Character comes before calling. You can be called to be a leader. You can be called to be a man of God. You can be a CEO. It doesn't matter to be anything in this life. But if you do not have character, you won't make it. It was 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 to 7. It teaches you how a man of character is. And before you get to be a leader or to be anything in this world, things that people look at, there are things that a person is supposed to be before he steps into that calling. A man's life should not give people legitimate reason to accuse him. A man who is not faithful in relationships, it doesn't matter what kind of a relationship, cannot be trusted with leadership. Strong men are not controlled by impulses. Impulses meaning anger, lust, speech, habits. Man controls his temper, and his home is the first test for leadership. If you cannot lead your home, how then are you going to lead the business world, in church, in an organization? People should look at your family and see that you led your family well. Then they can trust you out there. A leader is humble. A leader is a servant to people. Before God promotes a man publicly, he'll test him privately. In those small spaces where people cannot see. In this verse, character, discipline, humility, and faithfulness are the real qualification for a leader. That's how I see it. You cannot be a leader and you're not reflecting godly character. What character means is who a man is when nobody is watching. Areas that God examines in a man before he can actually launch you out there to the world is your private life. What a man does in private reveals truly who he really is. God sees everything. He sees our hearts. He sees hidden habits. He sees thoughts. He sees our actions. God also looks at the family life. A man who cannot lead his home cannot lead others. Hata kuende aje. You can't. At some point, you'll break down. The other thing, you have to have self-control. Self-control in anger, sexual desires, control in appetite. Your friend with a nice car, you want it. You see your friend has joined this club, you also want to join. You see your friends hang out at this place, you also want to be there. You see every beautiful woman, you want to be involved with her. You have no self-control. An appetite for everything, from women to shoes to clubs, you're all over the place. Your reputation. People outside there should be able to look at your life and you have a good reputation. People can respect your life. People can make good choices in life. They can look at your family and look at your life and say, they'll give you respect because of the life that you lead. Your character should be visible. The community, the society, where you live, what are people saying about you? What can people say about you when you're not there? God checks and tests character before he can launch you, before he can release you to the world. And sometimes, even if you get there, he will remove you because he knows this one is going to mislead. So he'll remove you out of those positions. I strongly believe a man of character should be a man who fears the Lord, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. If you're with a man who does not fear the Lord, you're in a lot of trouble. If you're with a man who does not fear God, my friend, run. Man of character will even be very, very careful how he treats you, how he treats people, how he treats his children, his employees, runs his businesses. Because everything that he does is unto the Lord. Everything that you do as a man should be unto the Lord. So if you have no fear of God, then you'll find yourself doing things the way you feel like. You can choose whether to show up at work. You can choose whether to pay people. You can choose whether to treat your children well or not. You can choose whether to be faithful to your wife. You can whether to pay your taxes. A man who does not fear God will not be a good leader. Fear of the Lord means it's the reverence for God. It's the honor for God. It's the awareness of God's authority over your life. Signs of a man who fears God. 1, he obeys God's word. He does not follow feelings. He follows the word. He submits to God's instructions. Whatever God tells him to do is what we will follow. He avoids sin. By the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. Proverbs 16, verse 6. He walks in humility. He knows that he answers to God. And if this man knows he answers to God, he will be very careful how he does his work, how he leads his home, again, how he leads his people. Because by the end of the day, you'll be answerable to God. Utaambia Mungu, I put you in this position. What did you do with it? You will answer. You will tell God, I put you there. What did you do with this? A man who is answerable to God, he is very careful how he leads. When a man fears God, he does not fear people. As long as it pleases God, as long as it is what God instructs him to do, as long as it's aligned to the word, he does not care what everybody else thinks. A mother of 2 boys, I'm doing my best to ensure that I raise men of character. And even as we talk and interact and do stuff, I always tell them, don't do things so that I may see you doing them. Just remember, by the end of the day, you're not doing it unto me, you're doing it unto God. Paul compared the Christian life to an athlete who trains his body. And why discipline matters is because great destinies are destroyed by lack of discipline. Because of that, there are areas men need to have discipline. Number 1, desire. Not every desire should be satisfied. Sexual purity. Guarding your eyes. Even things you watch. As a young man, don't be locked up in your bedroom thinking no one is watching, so it is okay. Remember, you cannot hide some of these things from God. The eyes are the gates to the soul. So as you're locked up in your room, what are you watching? As you're out there in the world, what are you looking at? Ama start kipita hivi nayo na uko na mwingine kipita hivi uko na yeye. Your eyes are just everywhere. Men, guard your eyes. You don't have to look. Si lazima. Because when you start looking, thoughts get into your head. And remember, thought becomes things. And thought become action. So whatever you keep feeding your eyes, now they become things. They become thoughts. And those thoughts, they keep lingering and lingering. You start having ideas. Things start getting into your head. You start thinking, I can do this, I can do that. Young men, avoid pornography and immorality. Watana hiyo porn ikusaidii watch pornography. Hiyo pornography no ita lead to masturbation. A man of character does not masturbate. A man of character does not watch pornography. Character is not immoral. The other one is emotion. There are men who can't just control their anger. Then they get so angry with everything, even with life, even with anything. There are people you do not want to be associated with them, because even how they even talk, even how they text is just, and even what pushes them are things that bring so much anger. Things they watch, fuels that anger in them. A man of character has self-control. You don't have to be angry at everything. When you're provoked like this, you're there hitting people, yelling, hurling insults. A man of character just walks away. You don't have to respond. You don't have to have a comeback. Sio lazima. Even our babies, our children, control, because most of the time out there people are going to upset you. Most of the time a girl will say something to you. Maybe she just likes you, but she'll say something to you because you're not giving her the attention that she needs. And will you start hurling insults at her and telling her this, or even hitting her? Control your emotions. You don't have to react. Some time back, my son was in this school where this school is just known for bullying. Any kids just bully, even the girls. And this particular day, I went to pick my youngest from school, and I just sat somewhere so that when he's coming, I can see him. So my son is walking in front of this group of girls, and they're just insulting him and calling him all these things, and he can hear what they're saying, but he's just walking. And I was like, this can't be happening. I was so upset. He was very calm. He just walked. He saw me, came, sat next to me. And I'm asking him, why would you let these girls insult you and call you these names and saying you're this, that, and the other? And do you know what his response was? Mom, they can say all these things, but I'm not those things that they're telling me. Kids to have been behaving like that, they must have seen it somewhere, and then it's okay for them to just come to school and start insulting other kids, and it is just not right. More reason I even moved him out of that school, because I thought I was the only one who was complaining about the bullying to children and in toilets and all this. And you might find all this stems out of what they see at home, how the parent is leading them, how they are guided at home, how they are brought. It's a whole... Anyway, that is a story for another day. Spiritual habits. This is prayer. A man who prays. A man who reads the word. A man who fasts. It's happening in most of our homes. It is the women who've taken up that responsibility, where you teach the children how to pray, read the word, you have to fast. Yet it is the responsibility of the man. Yani wewe bibi ndo nabaki akichapa ndimi the whole night. Umelala as the head of the family. She's on covering the family in prayer. She's the one reading the scripture. She's the one fasting for the family. You as the head, as the leader of that home, umengorota. The wife is the one who takes the kids to church. The wife is one who does the programs that the children are doing in church. If these young men are not taught when they are young, when will they learn? It is important to have these spiritual habits, because in this life there's some situation where fighting physically is not the way to go. Sometimes it takes you going on your knees and having a conversation with your maker and telling God, hapa ndio nimefika, help me be able to navigate this season in my life. It could be work related, it could be relationships, it could be school, it could be anything. And as a man, if you're not able to teach your children that, if you're not able to teach your sons the importance of having this kind of habits, how are they going to grow up being men of character? How are they going to teach their children, their sons, and their grandchildren? How are they going to teach them if they've not learned it from you? Integrity. A righteous man walks with integrity. And this is from Proverbs 27. It's being the same person everywhere. A man of integrity keeps his word. If you say it, you do it. He's honest in business. There's no cheating, there's no corruption. Consistency in everything that you do. A man of integrity builds trust, influence, a legacy. That legacy is known to be a legacy of integrity. Before anything else, before marriage, before family, God gave Adam responsibility and purpose. God placed him in the Garden of Eden to work it and take care of it. Mungu alipatia mwanaume kusudi, purpose. So this shows that work, stewardship, responsibility were given to man by God. That's how God designed that man to be like. God did not create Adam to be idle. I feel even how we raise our children at home, ensure that they are doing something. They're not just idling, doing a lot of nothing. Single moms, we have a role to play in how we bring up our children. Situations where these grown men still living with their mothers or their parents' roof, refusing to go work. They are fed, they shower, they eat, and even others go get children out there and bring home for their parents to raise. Really. And you see, once a man is idle, when he has nothing to do, that's why you find them, they're everywhere having children, So you find this mother is not even able to enjoy her old age because she's busy taking care of her son's children. We are to blame to some level because I do not understand, even you as a woman of God, you as a mother, you know the word, you know that it is important for this man to be working. Why is he under your roof? Like, send him out there like other men. Let him go look for work, even if it is farming. Let him go back to the village and start doing something with himself. There's nothing wrong with supporting. In instances where something has gone wrong or, somebody has lost a job and, that is okay. But you're in old age, you're not even able to travel or even run your project because you're busy raising your son's children. This man will never know, he will never grow up because he knows he will go do his things and come back home. Mom will take care of my children. Watoto ni washosh. So these children grow up knowing what their mother is their shosh. And you find even some of these kids, they get so confused. They don't know whether to call their shosh or whether to call their grandmother mom. Because she's in both roles, She's raising these grandchildren as her own. And then she's also playing the role of being a grandmother. So which is very wrong. This young man from the get-go should have known that it is important for him to be out there looking, working, doing something with his life. Oh, my son this, my son that, my son this. Putting up with a lot of nonsense from that your son. When he's been beaten out there because of misbehaving, you're the one getting him out of from the police station. When he's out there beating people's daughters, you're the one running there to going to defend your son. When will this son of yours ever grow? He'll be out there drinking, doing all sorts of things, and come home and start calling you names. Then come morning, when you confront him about it, he said he was drunk. Because you've allowed him to do that. Some mothers, they'll go even take loans, give loans to their sons to set up a business. And these sons cannot do it because they're not men of character. Remember, a man will be given money and still lose it. This man has no direction. He has no focus in life. So even with that business, within no time, gone. He's not a good steward. He's not able to take care of the money that you've given him. Every money that he gets is out drinking. Every money he gets is out with women. Every money he gets is doing unnecessary things, fulfilling unnecessary desires. These men I'm just giving an example from an article that I saw, the 40s, approaching 50s, refusing to move out of their parents' houses or their mother's houses. And you're very comfortable pressing the remote in your mother's house. Instead of being there with other men, wengine wakijenga unapaka rangi. Sasa ujengewe na upakiwe rangi, na uletewe. So even as single mothers, raise them in the right manner and also get mentors for them men that can guide them, men that are an authority over them, so that they're able to guide. Character are supposed to protect physically, spiritually, and emotionally. One thing that I see most of the cases is that you find men have the perception of they need to just protect physically. You forget that they need also to protect emotionally. I was seeing a video on YouTube where this man has traveled out of the country for 5 years, and he has a very young family, and this family has been left behind. When he gets time off, he comes to back home to check on his family, maybe like twice or thrice in a year. So as time has gone by, he got to know that the wife was having an affair with one of her employees. And you see, even back in the day, even soldiers with young families were not sent to war. Now, with this man having a young family, and you know you're going to be away for a very long time, it's advisable to be near your children, to be near your wife. Women are emotional beings, and you see, get very emotional. Sometimes you want to talk, you want to vent, you want to talk to our partners, tell them what we are going through. All these things happening to our bodies, and then now you can imagine having a young wife. You're out of the country, you cannot be reached, and every other day there's that employee who is always complimenting your wife, and then she's confiding in him. Even when do not create gaps where you find your partner is getting that emotional connection and protection from somebody else. How much can you even discuss on phone, even if you're to speak on a daily basis? Sometimes we just need to have physically there, to have those kind of conversation, to spend time with, to bond with. 5 years, and you want to sit back and say that you're protecting your family emotionally, even for your own children. That same employee, that Brian, John, Jonte, and the rest, are the ones showing up with her for sports day, for parents' day, or when she's stuck and she cannot pick the kids. Who does she send? The same colleague. And you see now, she completely steps into your role, because even men who get into other affairs, the one thing that men forget is, in as much as you're providing and doing all these things, it is important to have that emotional connection with your partner. You protect that emotional aspect of the relationship or marriage, because if you're not connecting emotionally, it will be very hard for your partner to be able to talk to you about emotional issues, things that she's going through or feeling. Don't create that gap. It's for someone else to feel it for you. If you're not, that's what you find. Even when a husband has been away, when a man has been away, when he comes back home, he feels like he's a total stranger in his house. Why? Because there's not that emotional connection. You've not been there to connect with your children, not been there to connect with your families. And look at, even in most schools, who are the people who are going for these sports days and parents' days and all these school activities? It is the women. The men are not there. So your child is there, supposed to be participating in an activity. You're not there to support your child emotionally. So this child is always used to seeing the mom. You're nowhere to be found. You're so busy. Or you forget that children are actually seeing what you're doing. And they're actually noticing, my friend's dad is always there, my dad is never here. You're not protecting your family emotionally. A man of character protects his family emotionally. You're there physically, you're there emotionally, and you're there spiritually. You have to be present in all of those things. The other one is sexual purity. Many powerful men fell because of sexual sin. Let's take the case of someone like Samson. Samson was a very powerful leader. He allowed lust and attraction to foreign women. He influenced his decisions. Yet even God had warned him not to marry women from foreign countries. So later on, he fell in love with Delilah. For Samson, sexual desire became a vulnerability for God's enemies to use to exploit him. It is in Judges chapter 16, verse 14. This woman kept nagging him and asking him where he gets his powers from. He gave in, to the sexual desires, to the lust, to the attraction, and he fell prey to give the secret behind his power, and he got exploited. Let's go even to the case of David. David saw Bathsheba taking a bath. He let his desire control his emotion. He continued lingering into temptation. He continued doing what he was doing to a point where he had an affair with this woman, despite the fact that she was still married to somebody else. Lust grows when a man dwells on forbidden desires instead of turning away. And do what is expected of you. You keep lingering and doing the same thing. You always find out you're digging yourself into the hole deeper and deeper. Yeah. By the time you realize you're so entangled into the whole issue, you're not able to get out. To hide his sin, David arranged the death of Uriah. Uriah being Bathsheba's husband. He ensured that he got into the front line in a battle, as you are shown in the Bible. The influence and the power that David had, that enabled him to manipulate, misuse his position, his power, which now escalated into murder. So sexual sin is also a gateway to other sins, like you've seen, into manipulation, into deceit, into murder, complicating your entire lineage. When the head of the family is discovered that is involved sexually with somebody else who is having an affair, his family suffers, both emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, in all aspects, because now everything else is being divided into two. And how much can one person handle managing all these people? It can be a lot. When your children are suffering, your wife is suffering because of such decision. Because we have seen so many times what happens when a man goes out there, gets children, and then when he's not there anymore, families are left in court for years and years and years, fighting for property. It drains people emotionally, physically. You find even in as much as they're fighting in court, some don't even make it to see the results from the court. Why? Because it's taken too long. People are fighting, people are dying because of properties, So that brings a lot of conflict within the family. The man of character leaves a very good legacy. You do not have all this drama, and you've seen them over and over, time again, happen in burials. So the person is claiming him to be the husband, and sometimes you will find even these burials don't even proceed until documents are produced to show. So it becomes a whole other mess that was completely unnecessary. Men who do not have self-control and do years of achievement, instead of them to continue progressing and going up, they start going backwards. They start losing property, they start losing jobs, they start losing positions. So things that you've worked for years and years and years, you start losing them. You either get fired, or you find yourself in trouble, you find yourself in scandals, you let go. You are in some serious leadership position, you're let go because you have no self-control. You're just everywhere. So achievements that you've acquired over the years fall like this because of failure in sexual integrity. Have we not even seen leaders, men who are doing so well, dying out here like cockroaches? Yeah? Being found in B&Bs, dying of heart attacks because of some pills that they took. Dating young girls who they cannot keep up with. You can't keep up with her pace, you can't keep up with her lifestyle, and there you are, getting heart attacks, collapsing in these B&Bs, embarrassing yourself. Your family has to be contacted, taking pills to be able to match their energy. Is it really necessary? The other thing is honor women. See women as with dignity and not as objects. You don't want another man to honor your daughter. If you have sons, what are you showing them? How you treat your mother is how they'll end up treating their wives. So if you're the type that does not appreciate your wife, if you're the type who does not honor, if you're the type that does not provide for your family and love on your family, how will your boys, how will your son learn? They emulate you. How you act and behave around them is how they're gonna be, because you're their first example. A man's true success is how he finishes his race. So I've outlined what I felt I could share. And if it doesn't start from home, it will be too late. If men are not trained from when they are young, it will be too late. They will not know how to be men in the world. It will always be a repeated pattern, what year in, year out, generation after generation. We're already here. We have to do what needs to be done. Thank you guys for this opportunity to have this session with you. May God bless you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.